Very brilliant legal minds say that Roe v. Wade should be overturned and burned in a trash.
When jokes become hurtful insults, and Saturday Night Live becomes more terrifying than Monday morning memos, you know something extraordinary has happened in the world of politics and entertainment. Alec Baldwin's journey from reluctant impersonator to Trump's worst nightmare is more twisted than the former president's own tweets. Imagine Alec Baldwin relaxing at home, perhaps enjoying a cup of expensive tea when his phone rings. It's SNL with a crazy proposition. Hey Alec, would you like to portray Trump? You'd think Baldwin would seize the opportunity immediately. But our guy Alec was like, nah, not going to happen. The man renowned for his witty remarks and impressive impressions actually declined the role of the most prominent figure in politics. It's like telling a child they can't have ice cream for dinner. But SNL wasn't taking no for an answer. They pushed harder than Trump does with his perfect phone calls. Maybe they knew Baldwin would be the ideal thorn in Trump's side. Perhaps it was his perfectly styled hair or his uncanny ability to pucker his lips just right. After all, Baldwin and Trump complement each other like pineapple on pizza. Some adore it, others consider it an abomination. Let's talk about Baldwin's history with Trump. They weren't exactly best friends. In fact, they were more like oil and water, or maybe more like Trump and facts. They simply don't mix. But eventually, Baldwin gave in and said yes. Why? Perhaps it was the paycheck or the challenge of portraying the ultimate grumpy Trump. Let's face it, playing a president is likely more lucrative than voicing Boss Baby. Saying yes was just the beginning. When Baldwin showed up for his first rehearsal, he realized he had absolutely no idea what he was doing. Picture this, a man standing in front of a mirror, sweating more than Trump at a salad bar, trying to figure out how to move without looking ridiculous. Baldwin had never even attempted a Trump impression before. It was like being asked to perform brain surgery when you've only ever played Operation. Then came the transformation. Makeup, wig, and suddenly, orange, not just politically leaning, but literally glowing like a Cheeto left too long in the toaster oven. Baldwin spent hours in the makeup chair, having more orange goop plastered on than a carrot field during harvest season. The real challenge, perfecting the Trump face. It's like trying to craft the cotton candy tornado on your head while straining your eyes and stretching out your lips as if reading the fine print on a McDonald's menu. His wife probably thought he was having a stroke. Should I call SNL or 911? But looking like Trump was just half the battle. Baldwin had to sound like him too. He studied Trump's speeches for months. It's comparable to binge watching a reality show where the protagonist believes he's the smartest person in the room but can't form a complete sentence. Baldwin described Trump as someone who's always looking for a better word but never finds it. He had to learn how to seem smart while saying things that made less sense than a drunken uncle at Thanksgiving. In those hands, despite their small size, they have some impressive movements. Baldwin likely had to watch countless loops of Trump rallies to adopt his distinctive gestures. It's like trying to learn interpretive dance from a windsock in a storm. Here's where things get bizarre. Baldwin began seeing Trump everywhere, in his coffee, his cornflakes, even in the mirror while brushing his teeth. Method acting gone haywire. The line between Trump and Baldwin started to blur. Is Trump playing Baldwin? Or is Baldwin playing Trump? It's a political version of Inception. And boy, did it come at a cost. Baldwin compared portraying Trump to years of eating nothing but fast food, harmful to both brain and body. Imagine constantly thinking like Trump. You want to build a wall around your own sanity. His family wasn't spared either. His children began wondering why their father looked like a dejected tangerine. Dad, did you fall asleep on a tanning bed again? Despite these challenges, something magical happened when Baldwin stepped on stage. He described the moment as if he accidentally discovered Trump's secret off switch. All he had to do was stick out his face, raise an eyebrow, and say one word, huge. It wasn't the voice or the posture. It was the attitude. Baldwin had cracked the Da Vinci Code of Trump impersonations and suddenly held the keys to late-night TV ratings. The audience went wild. People lost their minds like they were watching a magician pull an orange rabbit from a hat and then have it yell fake news. Laughter exploded like someone lit a match inside a fireworks factory. Suddenly, comedy had its newest weapon against political chaos. Trump, however, was not amused. Apparently, he doesn't appreciate satire when it's so accurate it makes him look worse than he already does, which says everything about his self-awareness or lack thereof. Baldwin quickly realized he wasn't just playing Trump. He was exposing him. Every sketch became a political event. Every episode turned into must-see TV. Because all it took was one actor with zero prior Trump experience and one well-timed smirk to make the president lose his mind on Twitter. Faster than someone yelling China into a megaphone, Trump's reaction was nuclear. Picture this, Trump sitting in the White House, probably halfway through a Big Mac and full-on paranoia when he catches Baldwin's impression on SNL. Instead of laughing or even smirking, he loses his cool faster than he can say fake news. He grabs his phone like it owes him money and starts hammering out insults like it's his job. Oh wait, it kind of was his job. He calls Baldwin a terrible actor, accuses SNL of being unfunny, and claims the whole thing is just another deep state conspiracy designed to make him look bad, which is wild because apparently he forgot he already looks bad without any help. His tweets fly out like verbal grenades aimed at comedy itself, while some were backstage. Baldwin casually sips tea thinking, I came here to roast turkeys, not eat them. Truth is, Trump didn't just dislike the impression, he feared it because it wasn't just funny, it was accurate. Like watching someone play your greatest hits on loop, but only the tone-deaf, arrogant, and slightly unhinged ones. Baldwin found Trump's off switch and kept flicking it every time he stepped on stage. Meanwhile, Trump was doing everything short of declaring war on NBC just to shut it down. Here's the twist, every time Trump ranted about Baldwin, the ratings went up. The second he screamed fake news on Twitter, SNL got a free ad campaign written in all caps and dripping with rage. Every unhinged tweet, every desperate Fox News appearance where he begged Tucker Carlson to defend him, only gave Baldwin more material and SNL more hype than a Marvel movie trailer. It was like watching a man try to fight laughter by yelling louder, somehow making everyone want to watch the joke again and again. Apparently, the best way to promote a comedian is to insult them like you're stuck in middle school and forgot how the world works. And Trump kept doing it like he had no idea what was happening, as if he thought he was taking down a rival, when he was really just giving the guy a standing ovation. When your enemy is a man who thinks telling jokes is treason and satire is sabotage, suddenly every rant becomes fuel for the next sketch. Baldwin's Trump wasn't just funny, it was terrifyingly real. It was less entertainment and more exposure for Trump. The line between mockery and truth got thinner than his grasp on reality. Under pressure, Trump seemingly took on the role of Baldwin's personal hype man. But instead of saying "yeah boy," he was yelling sad and overrated. However, there's no such thing as bad publicity in show business, is there? Baldwin had no intention of giving up. Not a chance. Our guy Alec decided to double down harder than Trump at an all-you-can-eat buffet. He continued pushing buttons, refining his persona, and driving Trump completely insane. It was like watching two children argue about who should be class clown. Except one of them possessed nuclear launch codes. The public's response was frenzied. Like the last slice of pizza at a party, people couldn't get enough. Critics praised Baldwin's ability to capture Trump's distinctive eccentricities, saying he had gotten under Trump's skin, which is kind of gross when you think about it. But that's showbiz, baby. Trump's devoted followers weren't thrilled, of course. They started throwing around words like fake news faster than Trump tosses paper towels at disaster victims, but it made no difference. A massive audience was responding to Baldwin's portrayal, and suddenly he was more than just that 30 Rock star. Baldwin found himself transformed into a political commentator in a horrible wig. And way too much bronzer. His attempt to make people laugh accidentally led him to a new career. Talk about a happy accident. SNL's ratings soared higher than Trump's. Ego. Presidential rage turned out to be great for business. Every time Trump hit the Twitter button, people flocked to Saturday Night Live, making him the world's most irritated marketing manager. The fascinating part, Trump's tweets, intended to silence Baldwin, became his most effective form of advertising. It's like trying to extinguish a fire with gasoline. It only made everything bigger and brighter. Baldwin's popularity grew faster than the national debt during a Republican administration. And guess what? Baldwin's portrayal wasn't a one-hit wonder. It evolved into a significant political phenomenon. Who would have guessed that America's favorite fake president would be a man best known for shouting at his daughter on voicemail? Remember when celebrities would discuss their latest blockbuster on talk shows? Baldwin didn't get that memo. He began appearing as Trump to discuss politics. A career pivot rather than promoting his next big movie. The key question became, had Baldwin evolved into something more than an actor? It's as if Baldwin suddenly realized the world needed more Trump. We apparently didn't have enough orange in our lives, so he went on to write an entire book in Trump's voice. The worst part? It was devoured like the last Big Mac in the White House kitchen. What does it say about our nation when a satirical book becomes required reading to understand the president? But hold on to your MAGA hats, because things get even stranger. Through Baldwin's fake Trump, people began to glimpse the real Trump. Baldwin's impression became a sort of political Rosetta Stone for deciphering Trump's unique communication style. Suddenly, Baldwin wasn't just joking, he was making sense of the absurdity. And let's be honest, there was a lot of nonsense to sort through. Baldwin stepped into the void like someone handed him a megaphone and said, "Here, explain this man to America before they all lose their minds." It became less Saturday Night Live and more SNL, the public service announcement. Because when you spend your life impersonating someone so unhinged that his own words sound like they were dictated to a confused intern while wearing sunglasses indoors, you start doing more than comedy, you start providing a public service. He became the unofficial Trump whisperer, interpreting the former president's tweets, tantrums, and bizarre press conferences for confused masses still trying to figure out whether Trump was speaking English or just yelling louder than usual. When Trump says total witch hunt, he means I lost and I can't handle it. When he says everyone's against me, he means nobody believes my version of reality. And when he says China did it, he probably means, well, who knows anymore. Thanks to Baldwin, suddenly someone was translating Trump from unhinged billionaire mode into something digestible, something understandable, something almost coherent, which is more than Trump himself could manage after midnight. Baldwin started questioning if he was still just an actor or had accidentally become some kind of political figure. When you spend more time sounding like Trump than Trump does during a debate with a dictionary, it starts messing with your head. He wasn't just playing a character anymore. He was embodying a national crisis in human form. It was method acting, gone completely off the rails. Instead of becoming the role became him. Or maybe Trump became Baldwin. Honestly, at this point, it's hard to tell which one needs therapy first. This wasn't just entertainment. This was survival. Like watching a translator step in during a hostage negotiation, only to realize the hostage taker is making demands based on Fox News dreams and Sharpie maps. Baldwin took Trump's nonsense and turned it into satire so sharp it could have been used in surgery. Political surgery. He didn't just mock Trump's policies. He mocked the entire performance of Trump's presidency, his ego, his instability, his inability to process losing without rewriting history. And somehow, he made it funny, which is more than most journalists can say after years of fact-checking madness. It took a toll. Poor Alec, who once starred in Glengarry Glen Ross, now found himself trapped in Mar-a-Lago psychodrama, the impersonation war. Playing Trump wasn't just annoying anymore. It wasn't just a gig. It was full-on emotional labor. How do you keep roasting a man who gets weirder every day? How do you mimic someone whose behavior makes Home Alone to villains look stable? He kept going anyway, not just for laughs, but because sometimes satire is the only way to survive a presidency that never learned to spell its own name correctly. He didn't just play Trump, he exposed him with punchlines, with precision, and with enough frustration to make you wonder whether he needed a sensory deprivation tank. After every performance, when you spend more time being the president than actually governing, someone has to step in and do the translation. Apparently, that someone is a man who still owes Hollywood an apology for all the roles he could have done if he hadn't been busy turning himself into a walking, talking political roast. Imagine trying to contain all that Trumpness, all that bravado, and all that ego. Anyone would need a lengthy vacation and a stiff drink after that, but someone had to do it. So Baldwin persisted. It seemed as if he was carrying the entire opposition on his spray-tanned shoulders. With better hair and more orange makeup, he became the voice that said what we were all thinking by choosing to don a wig and adopt a comical voice. Baldwin asserted that laughter can indeed change the world. He transformed from just another Hollywood actor into a political pundit, satirist, and a perpetual thorn in Trump's side. Baldwin's Trump act became an unexpected ordeal. He didn't see it coming. The man who just wanted to make jokes found himself in a political pressure cooker. Baldwin felt like he was losing himself in a never-ending cycle of responding to Trump's latest antics. Talk about an identity crisis. He accidentally became Trump's comedic conscience and now can't find the exit. But that's what happens when you become America's unofficial Trump interpreter. Baldwin's impression became the decoder ring for Trump's unique communication style. Whenever Trump posted something bizarre on Twitter, people looked to Baldwin for explanations. He became the Trumpian Rosetta Stone. What's next for our accidental political comedian? Well, Baldwin will likely continue to Trump as long as Trump does Trump, whether Baldwin wants it or not. It's the comic gift that keeps on giving. He might even decide to run for office himself. President Baldwin. Anyone? Now that would be a plot twist for the ages.